Boy, that fire feels really nice. Hello everyone, Saltyhead here, and today we're going to talk about fire and just how important it is to have some, especially if you're out in the wilderness in the winter months. During the summer, not so much because it's there for just enjoyment, but in the winter months it could make the difference between life and death. And let's just say you fell through the ice, or you're out in the woods and you get lost and you can't find your way back, temperatures drop. What are you going to do? Well, if you have a fire, your chances of survival are much better. And there are many ways to start a fire, even if you don't have matches or you left your lighter back in the vehicle. And you know, back in the days with our early ancestors, they always had fire. And the way they used to do it was with stones. But you need it for cooking, you need it to stay dry, you need it to stay warm. You know, it's very important. So I want to show you some of the different ways that I've learned to start a fire in the wilderness. So please join me and let's go start some fires. Now the number one way and most popular is matches, but if the matches should get wet, a better way is using butane. Now lighters, you know, you can use them out in damp and wet conditions, windy, snowing. These are quite effective. It's probably the best way to get a fire going. And but if you don't have butane or matches, you can always try an alternative way using the flashlight batteries that you currently have. And with a little steel wool and aluminum, you can also make a fire that way. And of course, if it's real sunny out, you can use this method, which is the magnification method. Of course, most people won't have a magnifying glass, but they may have their regular glasses. You can also use a balloon with water in it. And then another method, probably the one old method, that goes back to Neanderthal, is the flint method, where they used to smash two rocks together. And with this here, this is called the striker. You can buy them at Cabela's or any of the outdoor stores. And these work well in all conditions. And then another way that developed over the years was the bow method. This is a friction method, just like striking the rocks, the flint together. But this bow method, you're basically just spinning a piece of wood on wood and it makes an ash, and that's how you get the fire going. So I'll show you all these different methods. So let's get started. Now whenever I go hiking or backpacking or camping, I always make sure that I take my matches and I put them in a baggie or someplace where you can keep them dry. It'll make a big difference when you go to use them. The best fire starter out of all of the ones I've shown you is right here, is the lighter. You have fuel, you have flint, and you have flame, or the striker. These will work in any conditions and they last a long time. Now the next method I'm going to show you is with the magnifying glass. We used to do this when we were kids. It goes pretty quick, but I'll put it on time lapse just the same. Voila! Whoa. It took me 30, I don't know, 40 seconds to get that flame going. But the last time it took me like 5 seconds, but you just got to make sure you have really really thin, really fine grasses. And it rained last night, so everything's still wet. But anyways, that's with a magnifying glass. All right, the next method I'm going to use is with batteries. Okay, these are, so if you have a flashlight, you just take your batteries out. And you can just take some aluminum foil. Now the reason why this works is because it's metal. And yeah, here we go. This one here. Oh. See how quick that was? That's with just a battery and some Jesus, and some steel wool, and it just gets a fire going really quick. Works the same with aluminum foil. Most campers will have this with them if they're cooking. If not, then we'll try another method, which is the striker. Now, before I get into the striker, I just want to mention to you, when you use steel wool or aluminum, you need to connect it from the positive to the negative on the battery. And because there's a charge, a negative and a positive charge, that's where you get the, you know, the heat and the flame, or the spark that causes the flame. So you need to connect both, and that's why it works. And now we're going to do the striker. Okay, here we go. There we go. Okay, so that was with a striker. You just got to get it, you know, you got to keep going fast, and all of a sudden it just explodes. But like I said, the material I'm using, the grass, it's a little bit damp. And so if it was really dry, it'd be much quicker, probably. All right, and the final method was with the bow. We're gonna do that one now. I think I got them all. The bow, we gotta make it first, so we'll do that right now. All right, so now we're gonna construct the bow method. And I don't need this. But what we're gonna use is, this is actually cedar. I already made the bow itself. It's just a piece of cedar wood. It's local because I live on the Cape, and you know, just like a bow and arrow. And so this is going to spin the shaft, which is going to be embedded in the wood. Now these things here, this is from I got these up in Maine from a semi-constructed beaver dam. I'm going to use this as the shaft. It's going to go into the base, and I'm going to spin this thing, and with the friction, it's going to create an ash. And with the ash, we're going to create fire. So I just got to cut these pieces down and make them usable. And so that's what we'll do right now. So now that I've cut these down, this is going to be the base, this is going to be the spindle, and then this is the piece I'm going to hold in my hand, which the spindle is going to spin in. So I'm going to show you how this all works together, but right now I just got to shape the spindle. The bow's kind of done, and I got to cut the base. So let's get to work. Perfect. Now, a lot of these tools campers would probably have with them, you know, like an axe and a buck knife. And so this is going to be my spindle here. It'll go in here like this. And what I need to do now is I need to cut a notch here. That's to save the ash. So I'm just gonna. So I think we're all ready. I've got the base all made. I've got the spindle. I got this all whittled down from that beaver stick. And so this is going to be placed inside the block. And I'll put my foot on that. And then this is going to go on top. This will be my handle. And then I'm going to use the bow and I'm going to spin this at a high rate of speed. And it's going to make some smoke and then hopefully an ash. And that's how we're doing it. And if all goes well, we'll have a fire. This wet grass isn't helping much, but oh, here we go. Finally. Wow. Well, that was not easy. Well, in review, the best and most effective way to make fire, by far, is using a lighter. So bring a lighter if you're going to go camping. The least effective way to make fire is with the bow. This was awful. It was, I had to put 2 strings on here. I had to switch wood. I had to use pine because this was really dry. It was bone dry. The other wood didn't seem to, it made a little smoke, but this wood worked okay. But it was a lot of work for very little ash, and so I would not recommend the bow method. If anything, the magnifying glass worked really well. You know, so if you have eyeglasses, that would work great. The battery worked pretty good. The flint, you know, a lot of people use the flint method, and that's what the Native Americans used to use. You know, smashing a couple rocks together, and that's pretty effective too. So in review, bring yourself a lighter. You know, it's I have one here. You know, it doesn't take up a lot of space, and so that's what I would do if I was to go camping and wanted to be safe and have a way to make fire. Right here, this is what it's all about. You need fire. So until next time, this is Saltyhead here in Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and thanks for watching.